Gemini, what's going on with you? Come on in, have a seat, make yourself comfortable. My name's Alan Hill from UnknownTruthTarot.com. Welcome back to another Gemini Tarot reading. In today's Gemini reading, we are going to do something a little bit different than normal. Today, instead of doing a love reading, I'm going to do a what's blocking you reading for December 2024. We're going to take a look at what's blocking you, what's holding you back, what's getting in your way, what's kind of slowing you down from being able to create the kind of life or the kind of love that you actually want for your life. So I'm going to use the Lantern Oracle deck to get 3 cards to kind of take a look at what's going on inside and what might be blocking you and holding you back. And then I'm going to clarify all 3 of those cards with the standard Rider-Waite Tarot deck. See if we can get you some more insight and clarity about that. Then I'm going to finish off by getting you some advice on what is it about yourself that you need to be reminded of and focus on, because it'll be something that'll help you get through this. So let's take a look. Let's get 3 cards for what is blocking Gemini here in December 2024. It has been quite a while. Whoa, hey, since I've done this reading, so you might have to bear with me just a little bit. Whoa, we got an extra one for you here. What do we got? We'll take these, and I'm going to put this one back. Make sure I put it in right side up. Okay. What do we have here? Wishful Expectations, card 14. It says, acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. Wishful expectations. Okay, number 19, accountability. Responsibility is a gift of love to yourself and others. And then we have card 33, sharing. There is giving in receiving and receiving in giving. So these things are somehow blocking you. So let's take a look at this and see what we can find out. This one seems pretty easy to figure out. Wishful expectations. Acknowledge the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. So that's either someone is fooling you and taking you for a loop on the hamster wheel here. This, you can see the lady is in a hamster wheel and she's bent over backwards with exhaustion, like going and going and going. This is almost like doing the same thing over and over again and expecting something different to happen. It can also be smoke and mirrors in your life, as in like somebody is fooling you, or maybe even a spot where you're fooling yourself about something. So let's take a look at that. Let's clarify this wishful expectations, please. What do we have? Two of Cups is underlying that energy. This is Cancer energy. It's a 2, so it's a choice. It's cups. It's about emotions, love. So there could be some connection that you have that is actually blocking you, and you have wishful expectations. What that is screaming is an idealized point of view about a relationship. In other words, seeing it for what you want it to be and not for what it actually is, and maybe going around and around and doing the same thing over and over again and expecting it to work a different way. This can also represent that you have some sort of a block when it comes to a relationship, or even a relationship with yourself. This can be like there's no harmony in it. We're not vibing at the same frequency here. We're not both in it together for the same reasons. There could be some sort of a block in the connection itself. Could even be that you're viewing the idea of having a connection as being some sort of a smoke and mirrors thing, almost like a real connection doesn't exist. Like I've tried and tried and tried and never actually got the kind of a relationship that I want. It could be any of that stuff. So take it however it resonates. When I clarify that wishful expectations, smoke and mirrors in your life, and seeing them for what they are, I get 6 of Swords, Queen of Wands, 3 of Swords. I don't really want to see a whole lot of swords if we can help it here, but this 6 of Swords is Aquarius energy. This is about moving forward into calmer waters. It's about leaving these rough, choppy waters of the past behind and moving away from that, moving forward into the future, into calm, clear waters where you have more clarity, where you're moving forward toward what you want. This is card 6 of the Sword suit. Card 5, the card right before this, is a mentally and psychologically painful situation or event. This is about moving away from a painful thing Sometimes that Five of Swords is a betrayal. This is about moving away from the pain that's already happened. At this stage, the painful thing has happened and you can't change that at this point. You can't change the past. Your real power is about going into the future. And you have an implied choice when you do that. It's not an explicit choice. It's not like someone shows up and tells you this or writes it on the wall for you. It's just something that it's just implied. You can either carry the burden that that painful thing caused into your future with you, so it keeps weighing you down and you keep getting experience of that again, which would be like doing the same thing over and expecting it to work different. The other choice that you have is you could leave the burden behind and carry forward with you the lesson you learned from going on this hamster wheel. This is really screaming to me the devil and the wheel of fortune. I call that the karmic hamster wheel, which is where you were supposed to learn a lesson from some painful thing, only you didn't learn the lesson. And now you're being forced to repeat it again. And most people don't learn the second time either, so they repeat it again and they just keep going around and around and around. And just like this lady, they keep running and running and running and not get anywhere until they're so exhausted that they just give up. This is about, do I carry the pain and the burden forward with me, or do I carry the lesson forward with me? As a block, this would indicate that maybe you haven't carried the lesson forward. Instead, you carried a burden forward. And that might be because of this Queen of Wands energy. This is Aries energy. This is a bold, passionate, fiery, determined person who knows exactly what she wants. She doesn't usually take no for an answer. She's very clear on what she wants and she goes after it. It's a lot of passion, a lot of desire. That can easily get you hung up, where the thing that you want, you kind of convince yourself that that's what this was, and I'm refusing to give up on it, even though it's hurting me, and even though I should leave it behind and move away from it, I'm carrying the burden of what I want forward with me. This is really screaming idealized point of view when it comes to relationships. Oh yeah, I got Five of Cups and the Tower right underneath that, and then the Six of Wands. Okay. Five of Cups is Scorpio energy. That Two of Cups that we saw here is the underlying energy is right here behind you. This is about being focused on the three cups that have been spilled and the love and emotions and the time, effort, and energy that got spilled and wasted, and not seeing this other opportunity in the background. Or even sometimes that Two of Cups can represent still feeling a connection with somebody, even though everything has been spilled out. And at its core, this card is really about whatever it is you focus on is going to dictate to you what emotions you experience. And here, they're focused on the past and they're feeling the past. They're focused on this thing that they've lost and they're feeling that loss. They're focused on what's missing and they're feeling that gap in their life. And sometimes that Two Cups in the background can mean I still feel the connection toward this person, and that's what still has me focused on the loss of it. And potentially wanting to go for another lap and not leaving it behind, instead carrying the burden of it forward with me. But then I've got the Tower after that, which is the collapse of something important in your life. It's a game changer. It's a foundation rocking event. It's also like, this is the collapse of a relationship a lot of times. Sometimes it'll be the collapse of a belief system that you have, like this mental model of the world that you're operating from and the way you believe things are. Like this, like I said, idealized viewpoint, wishful expectations when it's really smoke and mirrors. And this would be the collapse of that belief, that mental model that you're operating from. And now something has happened and changed it, and it's not the same anymore, and it can't be the same anymore. It's the collapse of it. This is card 16 of the major arcana. And in numerology, you take double digit numbers like 16, 1, and 6, and you add those together to get 7 in this case. And that's the number of the divine. So when something important collapses for somebody, when they lose something that's important to them, most of the time, the first thing they do is they're like, why is this happening to me? But it's card 7. It's the number of the divine. It's not happening to you. It's happening for you. This painful lesson that you went through, that you were supposed to carry the lesson forward with you. It's not something that you're being punished with. It's something that has happened for you. It's to take you to the next level of you. It's to ascend you to the next better version of yourself, so that when you move into the future, you're moving in the right direction. This is the universe or God, or however you want to view that, probably gave you clues along the way that this wasn't the spot you were supposed to be in. And at this point, they're like, you know what? They're not learning. Let me just kick this damn tower down and collapse it for them and give them no other choice but to move forward. Very next card we have is a card of forward movement. I've got 2 6s here. Both are about forward movement. Like I said, though, this has that choice with it about, do I carry the lesson or the burden forward with me? This is about recognizing something. It's about recognizing I wasn't supposed to be here. This wasn't for me. Probably just had my idealized point of view of what I wanted that relationship or that person or whatever this is about. It doesn't even have to be about a relationship. Maybe it was a job. Maybe it was a career path. Who knows what it was? Only you're going to know that. But whatever it was probably an idealized point of view. And this is about recognizing that so that you can move forward. The final clarifier for wishful expectations is the 3 of Swords, which kind of goes right along with what I was just saying. This is heartbreak and sadness. This is a Libra energy. This is an emotional loss of some kind that has psychological pain with it. Sometimes in a love reading, this will represent a third party is involved. And if not a third party, it's some other energy most of the time. Sometimes even that smoke and mirrors, like expectations that you have, can be the third energy. It's something related to whatever it is that you wanted. Hell, and I gotta say it because I do a lot of relationship readings. A lot of times when I'm not reading for an Aries or a Leo or a Sag, this ends up being the other woman or the other person that there was attraction to. Central to your energy here and what's blocking you is accountability. Responsibility is a gift of love to yourself and to others. There was probably someone else responsible for hurting you. And this isn't saying it's your fault that they hurt you, as much as it's saying you have something that you need to focus on about your own accountability in connections like that. When you're with someone that's not treating you the right way, that's causing you pain, and instead of moving forward and leaving them behind, you end up moving forward and carrying them with you anyway. And when there is a time when they're getting left behind, you're still focused on the loss of them instead of what you could be happy about. That's what it's talking about with your accountability in that. Also, your accountability of your expectations, what you, like your idealized point of view about it. This is about taking accountability for that, because no one can control your expectations other than you. No one can control this idea of like putting up smoke and mirrors to make it so that you see it the way you want it to be versus the way it actually is. Like your desire to have something so badly, that's the part that you need to take accountability for and do something about. So let's clarify this and see what else we can find out for you. Oh, hey, taking an extra one here. Underlying this accountability energy, 10 of Wands. This is Sagittarius energy. It is a heavy burden that you're carrying. I already said here, this 6 of Swords is about the implied choice. Do I carry the burden, the painful thing caused into my future so it continues to hold me back and weigh me down and block me? Or do I lay the burden down and carry the lesson forward? Well, here's the burden showing up in the next stage of this. So this is not necessarily the future for you as much as it is a point in time past whatever this was about in the first column. You've carried the burden forward with you. This is a 10 though. And in tarot, 10s are completion. So this is supposed to be the spot where you lay this burden down and move forward without it, where you can start new again. Back at the Ace of Wands, where you have your passion and your desire and your drive and your determination and your motivation and your ability to like take your will of what you want and project that into the world. It's going to be hard to do that until you lay this burden down. And that's another meaning to the accountability, because I can't lay that burden down for you. Whoever this other person was can't lay that burden down for you. Only you can do that. When I clarify that, I get the Knight of Cups, the Ace of Swords, the Page of Cups, and the Wheel of Fortune. Knight of Cups. Knights are action takers. Cups are about love and emotions and creativity and intuition. This is about actions in that regard, moving forward in that kind of stuff. Sometimes moving forward in romantic offers, romantic gestures, trying to advance a cup of love, trying to move forward on something that you have emotions about. He's carrying the Ace of Cups, trying to advance something that would bring you happiness and fulfillment. It's tied with this moving forward energy. But the question again is, am I carrying the burden forward with me as I go off into a new relationship? Or am I carrying the lesson forward with me as I go off into the new relationship? I see this reminded me of the Wheel of Fortune and the Devil. I told you that. And I'm seeing the burden still here. So I'm not 100% certain if you have laid that burden down, if you've done like the inner work to get past whatever that was that let your wishful expectations get in the way, let what you wanted it to be get in the way from what it actually was. I've got the Ace of Swords here. This is the sword of truth. It's the sword of clarity. It's the sword of victory. It's the sword you would use to sever a relationship or to cut something out of your life that is unbalanced. It's the sword you make decisions with. Like the word decision, the Latin word decision comes from, literally means to cut off. This burden, it feels like it's coming forward with you. This is the sword you would use to get truthful with yourself and to face some things that maybe you don't want to look at. There is some reason why you stayed in the position you were in. And this is about finding the truth of that and cutting that piece away. Got Page of Cups next, which is news, messages, communications about emotions, about love, expressing feelings. It's the least developed of the court cards. It's not a fully developed emotional energy, so it can be someone who's not fully emotionally developed, not fully emotionally mature. This fish in the cup can represent sleight of hand. In other words, hey, don't look in my eyes because then you'll be able to see what I'm really up to. I want you to look over here and be distracted so I can slide some sneaky stuff past you. Communicating with people that cause heartbreak. It could be something along those lines. It could be like the way that you communicate about love and emotions ultimately leads you to some point where you're moving forward with the wrong person instead of cutting them off. It could be that you get suckered in by people who talk to you the correct way and kind of like distract you with sleight of hand type stuff, and then you end up with heartbreaking things. Either way, I've got the Wheel of Fortune with it again, which, like I said, this reminded me of that card plus the Devil. This is a change in the luck and fortune. If things have gone this way that I'm describing in the past, this would be the spot where you turn it around and go the other direction, where you lay this burden down and move on without it, where you learn the lesson instead of having to repeat it again. It can represent a repeating cycle of something happening. So if you don't take accountability for your role in whatever this idealized point of view was, this thing you wanted it to be instead of what it was, and do some inner surgery on those parts of yourself and kind of cut some of that stuff away that was burdensome to you, you're going to repeat it again. I don't want to see that happen to you. Sharing is the last card you got here, card 33. It says there is giving in receiving and receiving in giving. So you have some sort of a blockage when it comes to sharing something. I don't know exactly what that is. I don't know if that's sharing yourself, sharing your love, sharing, like opening yourself up. I don't know exactly what that is. Let's clarify it and see what we can find out for you. Tell me about sharing, please. Why is this something blocking? I just had the 10 of Cups flip up upright in the deck and show itself to me and then go face down and not come out. That is usually an indicator of something being blocked, as in like the 10 of Cups would be happily ever after, happy fairy tale romance, true love, everybody's idea of what it is they want out of love and relationships. But again, that's a card for me that very rarely actually represents true love as much as it represents a person's idealized point of view about a relationship or a specific person. It's about looking at that relationship for what I want it to be instead of what it actually is. It's kind of like the difference between how much money is in your bank account right now versus how much do you wish was in your bank account. I'm sure it's vastly different. And that's kind of what the Ten of Cups represents. It's that card that gets more of us in trouble than any other card in the deck because we all want it so bad that we'll delude ourselves. We'll put up our own, instead of falling for somebody else's smoke and mirrors, we'll put up our own smoke and mirrors to try to make it so that we can't see it any other way except the way that I want it to be, because I want it so bad that I'll ignore the red flags. I'll let the person treat me like crap and carry them forward with me anyway, even though they're breaking my heart, even though they're not fully emotionally mature. I'll just keep going around and round in circles with them, expecting them to like do something different. And I think that might have something to do with what you need to hold yourself accountable for so it doesn't happen again. Let's get one more card here to clarify sharing, please. Okay, we're going to take two, apparently. No, we're going to take more than two. Taking three. Underlying this sharing energy, I get the Three of Pentacles. This is Capricorn energy of teamwork, collaboration, working together as equals to build something of value. Typically, what you would be building here is the Ten of Pentacles. This is like laying the foundations for the Ten of Pentacles if we're talking about a relationship. This could just be like working together. If it's a block, then there's some sort of a block you have about working together and teamwork. Sometimes that block means I don't like to work together with other people, and I don't like to have teamwork and share things with other people and build stuff with other people. Sometimes that just means like there's some sort of a blockage around doing that, as in like maybe the people that you choose to share with and build things with don't match up with what's actually best for you. When I take a look at what actually came out here to clarify sharing, I get the Hierophant, the Seven of Cups. This is strange. You're the third air sign reading that I've done today on this What's Blocking You, and I got the Seven of Cups for all three air signs. Six of Cups, Ace of Pentacles, the Empress. Okay, the Hierophant is Taurus Major Arcana energy. This is a card of commitment, being committed to something bigger than yourself, being fully committed to it, taking it to the next level. This is like a higher learning kind of a thing here. This is usually for me like being fully committed to something where there's like a doctrine to it, or there's like a hierarchy to it, or like an established order of the way things are supposed to be. Giving and I don't know if this is talking about a relationship, and maybe that you were sharing yourself and in a commitment with someone else that maybe wasn't quite right for you. It's like carrying some burden forward, advancing with it, and being committed to it. That might be part of like I wanted it so bad that I was fooling myself and I wasn't taking accountability for who I was sharing my life with. But this Seven of Cups, options, choices, confusion about the options and choices. There's a lot of different ways this could play itself out. There's a lot of emotions involved, and I don't want to make a mistake and pick the wrong thing. I've got this thing that I want, and then I've got the truth, and something has to be cut away, and I'm confused, and I don't want to do the wrong thing here. But the clouds of smoke can represent clouded judgment, clouded vision, smoke and mirrors. I keep coming back to this card over and over again, but there's the smoke all around it. It's like my vision is clouded, my judgment's clouded, I'm emotionally confused. This can be not focused in the right spot. I've got the Six of Cups. I don't know if I told you this is Scorpio energy. The Six of Cups is also Scorpio energy, but see, now we're going backwards in terms of emotions. This is a card of the past. It's thinking about the past, reminiscing about the past, the way things used to be. This card can indicate that you have some sort of attachment to something in the past in terms of being a blockage. It can mean that there's some healing from your past that you need to do, maybe even some childhood healing, and maybe that's something that you haven't considered yet, that hasn't even been an option that you could see yet. There's this thing that you're committed to that you have confusion or lack of clarity about when it comes to sharing with someone, and there's something from the past that's heartbreaking and sad, probably something that's not fully mature. I've got like a child energy and 2 children on the card here when it's representing the past. You could have some sort of a heartbreaking thing from childhood or from back in the past here that's still affecting you when it comes to like family even. Have an Ace of Pentacles next, which is a new opportunity presenting itself. It's a physical, tangible, real world opportunity. This is the seed of abundance. It's the seed that would grow into the 10 of Pentacles. It's not the 10 of Pentacles in and of itself. It takes time, work, effort, energy to go from this seed to the full-blown 10. There's something around physical opportunity that needs changing for you. There's some element of the past and history tied to opportunity that is some sort of a block for you. I don't know exactly what that means. I'm hoping you know what this means. It's not important if I can figure out exactly what it means, because this isn't my message. It's for you. Believe me, I got my own stuff that blocks me. But there's something here that can be turned around for you. What needs to happen in order for it to turn around is you have to take accountability for it. But then I have the Empress. Like, this is the mother of the tarot deck. She's always pregnant. She's always giving birth to something. She represents the birth of something new. I don't know if that's a new relationship, a new way of sharing yourself with people. As a blockage, she would represent that there's some sort of something about your abundance is in the way, something about your ability to create is in the way or being blocked on some level based on something from the past. Maybe your ability to birth new opportunities for yourself has been a little bit blocked based on something that has happened previously. Most of it, to me, it feels like it keeps coming back to this wishful expectations and acknowledging the smoke and mirrors in your life for what they are. I don't know if you have some element to your family life or, past childhood family life that wasn't quite right for you. I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping that you know what this is about, but I'm going to finish this reading off by getting you some advice here in terms of what you need to be reminded of about yourself, because this is going to be something to help you get through this. 3 cards for what does Gemini need to be reminded of about themselves so that they can move forward successfully here in December 2024. Let's get one more, please. Let's get one more, please. Okay. You got responsibility, acceptance, and cooperation. This is insane to me. Your central card was called accountability, and your final card was called sharing. Responsibility and acceptance are out here. Wishful expectations, like smoke and mirrors, like fooling you and not seeing it for what it is. This is about accepting it for what it is. I'm just going to start at the beginning. All 3 of these cards line up perfectly with the 3 cards that came out for what's blocking you, is what I guess I'm trying to say. Responsibility. You are aware of the power of your thoughts and the amount of love you express. Acceptance. You are ready to release control of situations or people and lovingly embrace the rhythm of life. Cooperation. In your quest to manifest the energy of love, you realize that every person and experience has value. Even the painful stuff that you have gone through, there is value in it because there is a lesson in it. It's not about like beating yourself up for making a mistake. It's about learning from that mistake and carrying the lesson forward with you, not the burden, not having to do the lesson over again because you didn't learn from it. It's about not doing the same thing over and over again and expecting it to work differently just because you want it so bad. It's about facing the truth of it and cutting away the stuff that's that's not there for you. It's not to your benefit. It's like releasing situations and people that aren't helpful for you. And that's part of the accountability. It's part of the responsibility. Nobody can cut people out of your life for you. You have to do that for yourself. Like, this just popped into my head. My brother is in prison. He's had a drug problem for a long time, and he doesn't release things because he needs to. He waits until he gets stuck in jail or in prison where he can't get to the drugs anymore. And then he acts like, yeah, I've quit. I've been clean for 6 months. And I'm like, no, buddy, you've been in jail for 6 months. So you can't get to the drugs right now. That's not the same thing as intentionally cutting them away and intentionally choosing to do something different. That's like an emotionally immature attitude about it. You're not taking responsibility. And I'm not saying that that's what you have going on here, but I'm just saying that popped into my head. So I felt like I was supposed to say that because that's probably relevant to someone watching this. Even this card, like cooperation in your quest to manifest energy of love. Here's the new opportunity. And she is the gateway through which manifestation occurs. The story of manifesting in the major arcana is the magician, the high priestess, and the empress. You know, that saying like the universe mirrors back to you what you reflect outwardly. Well, this is how it births it into the physical 3D reality, is hers. So this is like, in your quest to manifest the energy of love, you realize that every person and every experience has value. Everything you've been through has happened for a reason, and it's been to teach you a lesson. And I'm hoping that you understand what this is trying to tell you about so that you can make adjustments to it.